Abundant Rise. Welcome to my page, to my channel. It's your girl Cass. We outside. You already know the vibes. Okay? We outside. It's so beautiful out. Like, really. Let me see if I could get my aura in. How is it looking? I don't know. But either way, I have like 3, maybe 4 topics to talk about. If I remember it, I remember it. If I don't, then I wasn't meant to talk about it. But whatever, right? So, what is the cost of freedom? This is such an interesting question to me because it's like, you see how it's like redundant in itself. Like, what is the cost of freedom? Abundant Rise. Like, to me, that's already like a contradiction. Right? Like, it's already a contradiction. What is the cost of freedom? Because y'all seem like there's a price tag on this shit. And I'm just like, your freedom, Earth, what is the difference? What is a price tag? Is there a price tag for that? Because I'm trying to figure it out. Because y'all, and this is what I mean, where it's just like when we're in the conscious community and we talk about, oh, well, we don't have to be broke in order to be conscious and What do you even consider to be riches? What do you even consider to be wealth in the first place for us to even have this conversation that we can even understand, to overstand where we even coming from, because our perception is completely different. Okay? Because it's a contradiction. Because freedom, the first 4 letters tell you that it's freely given. So why are we doing all this labor? Are you a robot? I need to find out, because more and more with every rising, I'm seeing that y'all are turning more into robots than it is a spiritual being that we're supposed to be in the first place, which is from the heart, right? Because I'm seeing, even on the last one, like somebody asked, like when I was on live with Shakira, somebody asked, like, do you think you can do it? But again, what is the intent? Because why? Is there an issue with coming into money, making money? No, not inherently, right? Because the difference is the intent. The intent is what makes a difference. Because there are people who make vast amount of money, for example, and you don't hear about them. They don't talk about it. And I don't know what they're doing to serve their people. So who am I to even get into that conversation, right? But peep what I'm saying. If there is a price tag, what is the limit? Because again, you're limitless being, so there's never gonna be an amount that's sufficient. Okay? There's never gonna be an amount that's sufficient to you, because there's always more to gain. There's always more to get. So if you're basing it off of money, that is your first regret, because you're still working for something that you should already have. It's literally a mindset. Okay? A mindset. It's just like, even when we hear stories about slaves, people chose. Because it's in here. You can't physically bond me, because you were never gonna bond me here. You were never gonna shackle this, right? Especially not if I have this beating. Oh no, it just wouldn't happen, right? But this is what I mean. Y'all get lost in the game thinking that you guys can beat it. The only way you beat it is by being your sovereign self, okay? Your free self, because that is what goes against the system. Y'all think you can beat it by still being in it. That's not how it works. You still gonna get lost in it, which is exactly what I keep seeing. Y'all start out here wanting to be all peaceful and delicate, but then you just end up showing us that you really just like them, because you're still extorting us just like them, right? So again, is it possible? Absolutely. But you would have to be really delicate and passionate and intentful, because then you will keep you on track about what it is that you're doing. Because if money is the goal, then you're already losing. It was supposed to be always about your freedom. That couldn't be bought. The same way how mother can't be bought. But yet, you're still into consumerism. Like, we still don't, I feel like we're still not seeing it, because the line is very thin that it get blurred, and then you lose your placement. You lose your position over and over again. So that's why I keep bringing it up, because y'all trying to make it seem like it's something y'all could do, but I just keep seeing the downfall over and over again. So the cost of freedom is nothing. It shouldn't be costing you anything. That's why you guys are not grasping it. That's the only way you're going to get it. Because I don't care if you're what they deem considered as a job in this society. Does it feel like work to you? Because if it does, then that's a problem. You're no longer being guided or moving because of your passions, which is a problem. Which is why you get lost in the bills, all this ailment, all this ill. You're going to make yourself sick just worrying. Because now, again, your attention, your focus got lost in the money. But anyways, that was like my main thing, right? So what is the cost? Y'all really need to look for the answer within yourself, because if you even come to a number, you already in a wrong position, right? So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. Because, and then it's crazy because I seen a video, I reposted it on my timeline, about NFT, right? And then he's like, it's not about NFT. It's about decentralizing the world. Not only decentralizing the world, but breaking down the financial system so that you can be sovereign and free. I see a whole lot of discrepancies in that. And I don't know how you guys cannot. It's just a new way for you to be enslaved, because the new idea that they're trying to replace came from you. Literally came from you. So it's just like they're literally going to destroy this system so that they can entrap you even more. Anytime they're telling you it's about sovereign or being free, bro, it's a trick, because you never had to do anything for it, aka free. So y'all can get lost in this crypto system, NFTs, all this bullshit, but really that's really just an entrapment for the new metaverse that they're just putting in. So I don't even want to hear that. Like, you guys literally are because again, what is freedom? That doesn't equate with any systems because everybody will be moving different at the end of the fucking day. So again, y'all can dive into that piece on your own with the whole freedom. But I wanted to talk about something else that really piqued my interest. And I reposted it too on my timeline. It was Goddesses. They were talking, and she was saying that their track, Still Not Free, just digging deeper into the hole, every single time. That's why I was like, the first thing I said, I'm like, what is the cost of freedom? The first 4 letters just told you it was free. It's literally a mindset. You know, that intellectual property that nobody can take from you. That's the only freedom there is. So anything outside of that is just like crazy to me. But yeah, so it was goddesses talking, and you know, which is really interesting because all of them had like different hairstyles too. So I really want to see like the extended version of the clip. And the goddess with the locks, she was just saying how like the people, even the men that approach her nowadays, or you know, is different. She gets, you know, grand rising. She don't get the hey yo ma, and I'm just like, hey, well that's what I'm attracted now because. But it was interesting because it goes back to the topic, like Shakira's, like this is Shakira's statement. She's like, you know, goddesses, like they don't know they're goddesses, but women to stop focus on being Barbies and being more like goddesses. And I'm just like, well, now it's starting to make more and more sense too, even for the gods when you think about it, because if just by simply changing a hairstyle, it's gonna change the attraction that you get, right? Because what is a Barbie? Think about it. And which is what they said. If you have like the 40 inches straight hair, you know, makeup and everything, you're kind of expecting. I mean, we're not supposed to judge, but that's the first thing that we see at the end of the day is your appearance. And so if that's gonna make them act even different, I feel like that's something that we need to consider, because it's not working no more. I don't know when it start working, but it ain't working no more, especially at this pace in like society. If you are giving Barbie, which I definitely agree, a lot of people give Barbie the straight hair, the makeup, the eyelashes, you're done from head to toe. You are giving a certain energy, right? You are giving off a certain energy, because that is giving Barbie, that is giving materialistic and kind of like what you want to see. Whereas if you are seeing the locks, you know what I mean, more natural, more this, and this was the statement, there's a discrepancy that they're gonna look at the more natural, that she's not bougie. But I mean, what is bougie anyway? That's when you're acting at a level that you're not really at, or whatever. But I do feel like that is a discretion that needs to be made, because we still require a higher standard. It's just gonna look different, if you get what I'm saying. A goddess who's in her divine energy and who knows herself won't be moved by materialistic things. She's gonna require you to have a different standard spiritually, emotionally, mentally, in all those aspects that materially won't hit no more. Okay? Because we're gonna need you to show up in who you are, not nothing you can buy, because that's what society got fucked up nowadays. You know what I mean? I think you can buy everything out. You can't. Not this soul. I mean, it shouldn't be any soul, to be honest. But you know what I mean? For anybody who's in their divine energy, they're not going to be bought or sold just by material things that you just can put in front of her. Like I said, we gonna need you to show up like in your present, in your now. Which is exactly what I want to attract. So if this hairstyle allows me to attract more of that energy, that's exactly what I'm looking for, because you need to be bringing the best version of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Like that financial thing, that's one of the leads too, but I feel like you can show that in different ways, not just materialistically, because I feel like forget financially. Let's change that to stability. Yes, fuck financially, because y'all think everything's about money. It really has nothing to do with money. It's what you can do to, like, can you keep me stable? Because at the end of the day, you may not have money, but can you build me a home? That's stability. You may not have money, but can you grow me some crops that you can feed our family? Absolutely. That's stability. It don't always have to show up in money. Okay? What else did I want to talk about? Ooh. Can we talk about boredom right quick? Can we talk about boredom? This is such a tangent, but can we talk about boredom right quick? Because, I live in an area that is like 30 minutes away from the city. And so some people might call my area like boring or whatever. But I'm really intentional, so I'll pay attention to that. If you tell me, like, if you use certain words. If you use the word boring, you know what that tells me? Right? And this is why people would say, like, all it takes is one. I mean, for me sometimes, I say all it takes is one conversation. I don't need many for me to, like, kind of understand where you're coming from. Because little words like that, boring, depending on how your mind is able to, like, expand, you may be like, oh, okay, that's okay. But to me, it goes deeper. For me, if you use the word boring, I'm going to equate that to your inability to be still, be quiet, or your inability to be creative. Right? See, people can't stand me sometimes, and I know it. Sometimes I can't stand myself. Because I'm going to just look at you like, what do you mean you're bored? Your mind is like the first playground that we have. Like, my mind is my playground. I don't know how you guys look at yourself, but I'm like, do you know how much you can play with that? Like, how can you be bored? Like, that shit don't even make sense to me. It don't add up. Like, are you guys that either? Because I'm like, okay, so if you go to another place, imagine why. Wow, that hurts me. Melanated people don't go into quiet places like camping, hiking, into nature, because y'all are overstimulated. Like, y'all are like, literally, y'all worse than children. But you know what? Children are way better than y'all, because you know what? They will make nothing out of something. They will use their creative minds to entertain themselves. Why aren't you able to do the same? Like, that's very sad to me, because y'all literally are so limitless, but y'all limit yourselves like all the time. Why is that? I don't get that at all. Stop putting yourselves in these boxes, and like, there is no box. Do you get what I'm saying? You are limitless. So whatever things that you say about yourself is literally up to you. So like, and that's why you guys like can't see even the half the shit that I see, or what conscious people be talking about. Again, too, I would say, like, where's your feeling that you're bored? Can you not feel like what is around you? Like, there's energy around us at all times playing in full effect. How can you be bored? All you have to do is like literally just go outside if you're bored, honestly. There's literally trees, plants, flowers, bees, insects. Just fucking listen. Just listen. And tap into your heart chakra. And that's always going to be the message now. I don't care about anything logical. Tap into your heart chakra. Be more personable. Okay? Because I don't know who I was talking to. Oh, yeah, it was Jeannie. We're having such a good convo. Man, last Rising, we had such a good convo. But it was more about just like realizing what's for you, what's not for you, and understanding that sometimes it's you. And when I say that, I mean like when you talk to other people, right? So there's times that we may put ourselves in positions, right? And we see like people doing things that we don't necessarily agree with or we're not comfortable with. It's just not our like for us. Like, you know what I mean? Which is totally okay. But sometimes we have to check ourselves and be like, are we the problem or are they the problem? Because if everybody's with this shit, granted, the shit we talked about was extreme. Definitely like some Caucasian shit. Like, no offense, but we just wouldn't do that shit. But it was just like, sometimes like we can look at them like they're the problem, but I'm like, they're in their element. You know what I'm saying? They're in, like, so Maybe it was us, because if everybody in there is with the shits and we're the only one who's not, then we have to look at ourselves like, okay, I'm the problem in this situation. Even though in our common sense, but you know, common sense ain't really common. That's why we need to be more in touch with our senses, like our feelings. That we still gotta be like, okay, let's not make it seem like they're the problem necessarily. If this is like something that they're okay with, they're enjoying, that maybe that we need to remove ourselves in certain situations, because like that's just not for us. So sometimes I'm realizing like sometimes like even when we want to like tell people about themselves or check them, it's just like maybe it's just like it's not them. This is their experience at the end of the day, and that may not correlate with mine, which is a-okay. And just like being able to just tell people, I know the line is so cliche, but like, yeah, it's me, not you, kind of situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes that's easier for you to explain when it comes to other people, because not everybody's in a place to receive whatever you're gonna like even try to give them. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's easier to put it on you than on them, because as soon as you try to put it on them, they become in defensive mode. So then they're not really listening. So it's easier to put it on you to make the situation just go smoother, and maybe they'll have a better understanding. They'll be like, oh, maybe they'll look at you like, no, there's nothing wrong with you, but you gotta explain to them like, no, yes, it is me. Like, I know you don't get it, but yes, it is me. And that's when we gotta realize, like, it's okay that we're not for everybody. Shit, I know I'm not. Nor do I, like, plan on or like to be. My thing is, and you know what? Another thing is, it's another way for us to get understanding. It's definitely another way for us to get understanding. Because, what we also talked about, which I am still working on, me personally, is that like I'm working on like my tone and delivery, right? And some people, and you know what, I don't even bring up his name, but you know what, may he rest in his divinity too. But it's just like, you know, not everybody like everybody's delivery or how they take that. So, you know, some people be like, you know, they're fed up and they don't care. But you know what I realize is like you're kind of like shutting down opportunities to build. Hear me out, right? So, because I know not everybody's the same. Some people can take my aggressive ways, but I know some people can't, and they need a more delicate way. And so, but my thing is to always to get understanding, because I feel like for us, all of us, I don't care where you at in your journey, we all been misunderstood. Right? We all been misunderstood. And I'm just like, damn. Imagine if we just took the time to say it in a way where they can feel us. Because that's really what it is. Because remember, first is what we hear is the tone. Sound, mind, da-da-da. What we hear is the tone first, right? So that's their first reaction to it. It's not even what you're saying. It's their tone that they're hearing. And some people are, you know, what you would call it, more mature, or have more like intelligence when it comes to that, where they can like look over the tone and hear. But for majority of people, they hear the tone more. So I'm just like, but imagine, right? The example that I was used. Imagine we end up going to a place, right? And we're not really feeling the energy. And then we just like, we conscious, so we know our feelings, so we just like, peace out, this bitch, you know what I mean? So we like, and so instead of being like, alright, this ain't for me, I'm out, right? Or just, you know, you're giving out frustration because like, this ain't it for you. But imagine if, depending how you said it, right? Be like, hey guys, like, I know y'all having fun, but like, this really ain't my thing right now. Like, hey God, I'm gonna just dip out, right? That's a different feeling, if you get what I'm saying. Because depending how you said it, if you gave off frustration, they're like, well, what the fuck is wrong with it? You know what I mean? But imagine if you were just more delicate with it, See what I mean? Opportunities are endless. This is how we limit ourselves. Oh my goodness. So imagine if I said it more delicately. Then either, how many things could have happened? One, they could have been like, oh, okay, so she's not a bitch, right? Or they could have been like, oh, okay, do you want to do something different? Because they felt what you was given, okay? And then what if, like, they even expressed like, hey, I just really wanted you around because you get energy to the day, and that might just switch your mood. The possibilities, like, are literally endless. But just because of our approach, of how our approach is gonna make the difference, if you get what I'm saying. It's just like when you rise every rising, right? How do you want to seize the day? You want to be in some low, frustrated, annoying ass energy? That's exactly what you're gonna get out. You know what I mean? But imagine if you like, oh, you know what? Well, you take it more easily. You allow things to just roll off your shoulders. You're allowing yourself to be more open to endless possibilities. That's all I'm saying. If we just be more intentful, not so reactive, and I mean about anything. Because I know sometimes, like, when we conscious, right? I hate using that word. But when we are aware of how we feeling, right, or what's going on, sometimes we be like, well, that's how I feel, so you just gonna express it that way because you can. And don't get me wrong, absolutely you can. But then sometimes, that's what I'm saying, even though that you're saying it and you're aware of stuff, is the energy that you're putting out matter. Because remember, it goes back to the tone. So how you're saying it actually does matter because of the tone, aka the vibration that you're sending out. Even though in your head, logically, remember, get out the logical bag. In your head, you know, you're just doing it analytically and just logically. It's gonna come out how it's gonna come out. But then if you tap into the heart, though, the approach is gonna be different. The tune is gonna be different. So the feeling is gonna be more understood than misunderstanding, aka the miscommunication, right? Because it's not that you wanted to give off frustrated. You just like, okay, I'm just not feeling this. That's really what you want to give off. Like, okay, I'm just not feeling this, though. But depending on where it's coming from, this or this, there's going to be a miscommunication. So I feel like that's what we've been doing wrong, right? We just been doing this whole, well, as long as I'm getting it out, or as long as I'm expressing it, that's logical. How you express it, though, that's more like a feeling, like physical, like touch, like it's an expression. Okay, I hope y'all getting what I'm saying. But that's what I'm working on. But those, I think I touched base on everything I want to touch on. That's amazing. But yeah, those were the 4 things. Like, freedom should have cost you nothing. Hello, it's free. Free will, freedom, like, it should be free in any capacity, especially mentally and physically. Okay, those 2. But yeah, you have no reason to be bored because your mind is like the greatest playground. And yeah, women, listen, you're gonna start, whether we want it or not, we're attracting the kind of attention that we want to receive based on just our appearance. So, hairstyle, to be specific in this occasion. And yeah, just, again, it's always going to be tap into your heart chakra, tap into your heart chakra, tap into your heart chakra. Because that's the only way we're going to get together, like, aside from all of our differences, to be honest. But gratitude to my reflections. And yeah, you have an abundant, prosperous, joyous, glorifying day. Because ooh, you choose. Stop playing with me. How are you gonna switch towards the end, though? I love this one. But yeah, you have an abundant day. See y'all to infinity and beyond.